Welcome to Crete, Greece's largest island and fifth largest island in the Mediterranean. The Minoan people once occupied this land over 4,000 years ago and are thought to be the oldest civilization in Europe. Today, we visit their Palace of Knossos in Heraklion and uncover the mysteries and mythologies. Welcome to the Palace of Knossos. We are at the Palace of Knossos here in Crete. This is the bust of Sir Arthur Evans, who led the excavation here. This beautiful palace. We are at the Palace of Knossos here in Crete. This was excavated in 1900 by Sir Arthur Evans. It's the largest palace here in Crete, and it's believed to be the center of the economic and political authority of the time. We're gonna go check it out, and there's a surprise underneath, a labyrinth with a monster called the Minotaur. We are taking a trip back in time, close to 5,000 years ago. Upon entering the palace, we notice a number of large red columns reconstructed using concrete. The original used wood. Stepping inside the palace, we see a reconstruction of the procession fresco, which depicts men walking carrying ceremonial vases. The men were depicted with reddish tan skin, suggesting that they engaged in a number of outdoor activities. So we docked in Suda Bay, and it took us about 2 hours to get here, a very scenic drive through the mountains. And now we're here, it's December, right before Christmas. Our tour is here and a couple others. We got here around 10 a.m. It's very dry out, very Mediterranean, very similar to the weather in California. And this palace is surrounded by beautiful bougainvilleas everywhere, and it's massive. We're gonna take a tour. It's gonna be about an hour and a half to walk through this palace. So the Minoan people lived here, and they were pretty much self-sufficient except for bronze, which they had to import. And you can see here lots of beautiful columns. The rooms were interpreted by Sir Arthur Evans. What's also interesting is it's known for a number of frescoes, including some bull leaping frescoes. They had this acrobatic activity on top of the bull. The bull is a very sacred animal here, so it's depicted many times throughout the artwork. And another fun fact is this area had gender egalitarianism, so women are depicted very often in the artwork. These are called the storerooms. So some of the items that they would store include wine and olive oil. So they said that the whole production of the town was stored here, all of the olive oil for the people, hundreds of thousands of people. This was 3 stories. Lots of quantity of products were stored here. Inside, we see a number of reconstructed frescoes, giving us a glimpse at Minoan life. One of the most notable is the Ladies in Blue, which gives a clear portrayal of Minoan female fashion. We see white-skinned ladies with elaborate coiled hairstyles. The people depicted here were from Nubia, all the way in Egypt. And these are copies. Be sure to like and subscribe for more travel videos. So this is the throne room, and we're here in off-season in December, but if you're here during summer, the queue for this room goes all the way back there. Going in the throne room, the floor right here is original. It's made of gypsum. It's unclear as to what really went down in the throne room. The area is an intimate setting, able to hold no more than 30 people at a time. It's unpretentious, but also holds a mythical and otherworldly mystique. On the walls, we see griffins, a mythical combination of an eagle and a lion. There's a gypsum throne, which is still on view to this day, and a stone bowl, which may have been used for religious rituals. The theories on this room range from religious to political to astronomical. One of the most amazing finds in the palace is not the Minotaur, but the snake goddess. Sir Arthur Evans uncovered this evocative figurine after digging out the entire western wing and checking under the paved stones. It's now found at the Heraklion Archaeological Museum. She wears a full skirt made of 7 layers of flounced cloth and an apron, ankles not exposed, but bare-chested. Cat on her head and 2 snakes in hand. What she meant to the Minoans is not well understood. Meanwhile, our quest to find the bull-headed Minotaur still stands. So our guide was saying that there's not many bulls left on the island of Crete. They still do have them, but they're not as prevalent as sheep and goats. And back in the day, the bulls were mostly used as transportation, and they were very sacred because of that. And they did not sacrifice the bulls, yet they would offer figurines and things like that in the form of a bull, like the bull's horns. Next, we see the Grand Staircase, one of the marvels of Minoan architecture. It leads to the royal apartments. You used to be able to walk on it, but it's been closed off now, and the stairs are original and made of gypsum. So our guide mentioned that they had flushing toilets here, which was a really big technology at the time, and also they had terracotta pipes for water, fresh water. So behind me are the clay pots, and as you can see, they're quite tall, almost as big as me. And the Minoan people were not very tall, so they had ladders that went into the pots. Here's more frescoes. Very elaborately painted, very bright. We snuck back up here and there's nobody here. This right here is some ancient jump rope. You can see the bull right there, and horns.
They date back to the first palace. They're nearly 4,000 years old. These are originals made of clay.
This was the very first European city to have flushing toilets, clean water supply lines, and a sophisticated drainage system that separated septic waste from rainwater runoff. They had an ancient drainage system here. This is called the Royal Road. It was a processional way. This palace had 1,200 rooms. Archaeologists say that about 10,000 people lived in this palace at a given time. How did you like the palace today?
So old and so fascinating, their civilization.
It was cool.
Really cool.
Thoughts on the palace?
Really cool.
Yeah?
I can't believe all this history goes back to 1,000 years before Christ.
Just finished our tour. We walked in the steps of time, back in time to the Minoan period, and learning about their thriving civilization. So we're walking through, and I have to say I have some mixed reviews of the reconstruction here, because there's a lot of concrete slabs in between the original flooring and the original materials, and I gotta say it kind of stands out. Like, you can tell what's new and what's not. And here's an example. Lots of concrete, lots of original, kind of mixed in. Now, while the Minotaur did not make an appearance on this trip to the palace, we did capture one special inhabitant on our way out. A family of peacocks regally grace the grounds of the palace to this day. Now we cross the countryside in search for Greek cuisine. Now, time to eat. So we have the dolmathus, the stuffed vine leaves. We have a sheep's milk cheese and bread with tomato. Olive trees. Welcome to Crete. We just had lunch at this really cool restaurant. They made some local cuisine and baked chicken. BP got the vegetarian dish, which came out all potatoes.
Potatoes!
This guy looks like Walt Disney. We're at this church and they have a cemetery here. Everything is above ground. They have little artifacts from each person. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Dia de los Muertos. Yeah. Look how cool this countryside is right outside of Heraklion. It's really cool. It's kind of
Heraklion.
Heraklion. Kind of reminds us of the terrain in Baja or also in parts of California and Channel Islands. So the town of Heraklion, it was named after Hercules, obviously. Kind of sounds like his name. And we're walking by one of the main exports of Crete, which is olive oil. It's so good. It's like liquid gold. We hope that you enjoyed this tour of Crete and the Palace of Knossos. Be sure to like and subscribe for many more travel videos, and we'll see you in the next one.